greenery into your buildings, from immersive amenities to simple, high-impact upgrades. And 3, ways to foster connection and retention through interactive plant experiences, seasonal programming, and community-focused events. All right, so I think it's really important, before we jump in, let's start with why it is so important to create spaces and experiences rooted in nature. It all comes from the term biophilia. Who's heard of biophilia before? A lot of people in this booth have, but if you haven't, biophilia describes humanity's innate emotional connection to nature. It's why we feel calmer when we're surrounded by nature, why we feel a mood boost when we take a walk outside. I was just at Acadia National Park this last weekend. Let me just tell you, after 20 minutes just strolling through the woods, I felt calmer. All the stress from work and life felt like it just went away. It felt so good. And that's what we want to create in the spaces that we work in. So in the city, we often lose that connection, but bringing in elements of nature into these built spaces can have such powerful effects on our emotions, on our bodies, and on our mental and physical well-being. So, biophilic design in the workplace. Biophilic design goes beyond just adding a plant in a corner. It's all about creating environments that feel alive. So, how do you do this? You can add areas of refuge, non-traditional workspaces, or sensory details like light, texture, water. All of these things can pull people right into the office, not just because they have to be there, but because they want to be there. I think that's an important theme for today. We want to create these spaces where people want to be in, not just because their company mandates a 2 or 3 day work week in the office. So these spaces, like the one here, or even the one that you're sitting in now, these spaces support collaboration, innovation, and overall satisfaction. Something I imagine all building owners and managers want to foster in their spaces. I mean, who wouldn't want to take a break from their desk and go to a space like this, or one here on the TV? I know I would. So, why biophilic design benefits your tenants' health? Creating these spaces inspired by nature, not only visually appealing, but it's a great selling point for potential tenants, especially when it is related to their mental and physical well-being. Being in biophilic design spaces are proven to reduce stress, help regulate mood and lower feelings of anxiety and depression, and also lower cortisol levels. This is all results in happier and healthier employees and tenants. So how do these health benefits impact performance, and why does this matter to building owners and managers? We've talked about how nature benefits our health and well-being, but what does that mean for how we actually perform in our daily lives at work? According to research by Oliver Heath and Interface Inc., incorporating natural elements into the built environment has measurable effects on productivity, focus, and overall job satisfaction. So task completion improves by 10% when people work in environments that integrate nature. They tend to be more engaged and efficient. Memory recall increases by 10 to 25%. Exposure to natural settings enhances cognitive function, making it easier to retain and recall information. I mean, with how busy our lives are and the intake of information, who wouldn't want stuff that helps them boost their memory?
Like us old people.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but that also plays a factor. Absenteeism decreases by 10%. So employees in nature-rich spaces take fewer sick days, suggesting that biophilic environments support immune health and stress recovery. Some other really important key facts, well-being improves by 15%. People simply feel better in environments that mimic nature, leading to higher overall satisfaction and reduction of burnout. So what does this research tell us? It really reinforces this key idea that prioritizing health isn't just good for individuals, it's good for productivity and long-term economic and society success. So by integrating nature into surroundings, we create spaces that help people thrive, not just function. Now, imagine being able to point all of these key facts out in a presentation to potential tenants, because you designed with biophilia in mind. So what are some ways that we can do this? Now, I'm not going to dive super deep into biophilic design and implementation. That's why we have Jan here at 12:30 who's giving a talk on how you can really design with biophilia in mind. But I'm going to offer a couple quick, simple things that you can add to your space tomorrow. And like I said, you don't need to gut a building or spend a ton of money to bring in biophilic elements that are going to make an impact. Some small touches can go a long way. Add a propagation station where your tenants or your employees can go and take a cutting to create their new little plant friend. Yeah, and give a cutting. Add calming sounds in a lounge area. We have one of these bird boxes in our office where when you walk by it, it's motion censored and bird chirping noises just go right off. I mean, how awesome would that be that you're walking into an amenity space, you're walking into a lobby, and then you just suddenly hear birds chirping. I know for me, that makes me feel calm, makes my mood go up. And lastly, something really fun that has been starting to trend kind of all over the country. I think Google started to implement this. It's a adopt a plant station, or they're calling it plant libraries, where you can come and pick up a plant to have at your desk. With this new area of hybrid work, I'm finding that a lot more people don't have their own designated offices anymore. They don't have their own desk. So a lot of these places are lacking in personalization. It's not as fun of a place where you don't have a picture of your friend or family anymore. You don't have your own personal touches. What about adding a personal plant that you picked out that your tenant, your employer provides for you? You can take it for the day, return it at the end of the day, however it might be. But this adds your personal touch to make your office space and your desk feel more like your own and not just a place that you're going to work for the day. And like I said, these are all pretty simple, low-cost, easy things that you can implement right now. Okay, what about taking an old wellness room and creating a sensory wellness space for tenants to revisit or to visit, rest, and recharge? We started to do these at Cityscapes we're calling them immersion rooms. You can use plants, soundscaping, scent, water features, and light to create daily retreat for mindfulness and restoration. I mean, it really just, all your senses, all of them, ignite. One study found that's a 60% reduction in self-reported stress levels after spending only 15 minutes in a designated nature-infused space for rest and recharge. We recently created one over at 401 Park in the Fenway area with one of our clients, and they were telling us that the whole day, it's all booked. People have to sign up for it. Completely booked out. It's hard to get in because people are wanting these spaces so much. People are yearning for spaces that stimulate them and get them out of their everyday sit at your desk routine and connect them with nature. And it can be as big of one like this, or look at the one that you're standing in now. It can be big, small, whatever that is. Transform these wellness rooms that, in my opinion, I've been hearing a lot that aren't being utilized. So why have them if people aren't going to use them? Why not create an immersion room or a space like this that people want to be in? I mean, again, how amazing would this be to have in your amenity space or your building? I think everybody here could benefit from 15 minutes getting away from your desk and your computer, your screen, and just having those 15 minutes of mindfulness in a place like this. I mean, how does everybody feel just sitting in here?
Fabulous!
Good? Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to emulate in the spaces that we live and we work. So some other fun ways that we can implement nature and the power of plants to engage and retain tenants. It's something I've been personally working on last year, are plant parties. We're working really closely with our clients to create experiences that excite people to want to come into the office. And one of the best ways to engage tenants is by offering interactive workshops and pop-ups. And in our case, we do this through plants. We do this through fun DIY workshops guided by myself or other plantscapers. And these aren't just fun, they're meaningful. People get to get their hands dirty, they unplug from whatever the stressors of work and life are, and they get to connect with their coworkers and other tenants as well. And at the end of my workshops, I always ask, like, how's everybody feeling today? And the answer across the board is always like, awesome, the smiles light up. People always leave feeling refreshed, happy, and honestly so proud of the little succulent garden or terrarium that they just made. So whether it's building a terrarium or a succulent garden, these events foster joy and collaboration and will engage people and get them coming back into the office, which I think is a very important thing that we all are trying to work towards. And the biggest point here is that you're turning people's office days into experiences that they look forward to, not just an obligation set by their employer. And you can keep the momentum going all season. So why not tie plant programming to the seasons? When you do this, you create a sense of rhythm and anticipation. I just finished a couple of our summer workshops, our succulent garden workshops. People are already asking us, when are you coming back in the fall? Because they want this sense of connection to nature while they're at work. So some examples that we do, spring we might do herb boxes, summer for succulents and terrariums, fall we do beautiful autumn arrangements and pumpkin succulent decor. Winter and the holidays we do evergreen, botanicals, and wreaths. Really the options are limitless here. In each season comes an opportunity to connect with your tenants, bring some nature and something living into their lives, get their hands dirty, and have them connect with each other. So, what's even more powerful than growing plants? Growing purpose. Something at Cityscapes that we're really proud of that we have is our charitable plant truck. So imagine a food truck outfitted with plants. So how this works is we pop up with our clients right in front of their buildings and we sell plants for different local charities. Since 2019, we've already raised over $90,000. We actually were just at Lawrence Space and High Street Food Hall last week raising money for Bagley, a local charity here in Boston. But something like our plant truck, it brings greenery to Boston while supporting local causes. And now I realize that, not every city has a charitable plant truck like Boston does, but you can do this in simpler ways. Ask your local plantscaping company to do a pop-up, a community pop-up, and raise money for local charity. Do get creative with it. I really think that the options are endless when it comes to involving plants and tying it to the community and charity. It really just stems from tenants' love or engaging in pop-ups and giving back. Whether it's buying a plant for charity or supporting Earth Day or sustainability initiatives, or even partnering in local nonprofit events, it builds culture and community. And what's better than doing that with plants, in our opinion? All right. Now, to recap kind of some of the things that we went over today, we want to use biophilic design to create spaces people want to be in. We want to make them different than their office at home. We want to make them different than the cubicle that they have. Creating an oasis where people are thrilled to work in. They're excited to come to work. Keep experiential events and programming going all year long as a way to connect people with nature and unplug from their everyday routines. So like I said, plant workshops, plant parties, pop-ups, DIY succulent bars. There's so many things that you can get people out of their office, out of their desk, get their hands dirty, connect them with nature, and have them leave feeling good and rejuvenated and their mood just boosted. Another one, tie in community initiatives and give back in the events that you do. Whether it is with plants or without plants, it's so important. I have a background in nonprofit. I worked for a nonprofit for about 4 years before coming to Cityscapes. And I'll say connecting with the local community is so important. So support your local nonprofits as much as you can with your building, with your tenants, with your employees, because it does go a long way, even just awareness building.
Bridge over troubled waters.
Yeah, Bridge Over the Troubled Waters, a local youth homeless shelter in Boston, is actually BOMA's charity pick for their whole year, and then this conference too. So I think they were building toolkits or little bags yesterday. I'm not sure if they're doing that again today, but again, another great example of how we as companies can support our local nonprofits and really make a high impact, not even just with donations, but raising awareness, because you never know what you bring this nonprofit to your building and one of your tenants, your employees finds out about them, then they're going to volunteer at it and they're making an impact on their own because of you connected with them. And like I said earlier, or what is the result of all of this? It's higher levels of engagement, retention, and deeper levels of connection. That's all what we want to do here. We want to connect people with nature, whether we do that through plantscaping, through workshops, whatever that might be. We're all about connecting people with nature so that they can feel better, people are less stressed in their everyday life, because we all want to be happy, don't we?
Yes,
And how does everybody feel being in this? Happy? Tori, do you feel happy? Good. So there are going to be a lot more talks today in this booth that dive deeper into biophilic design. Jan is doing one at 12:30 that's really going to dive deeper into how to implement biophilic design in the workplace. So I encourage you to stop by those, chat with us today. We'll be here all day. We are so happy to talk about plants and biophilia and biophilic design. Also, you can visit the Green Plants and Green Buildings website. They have tons of resources on there. You can connect with your local plantscapers, learn more about biophilia and nature and design. So yeah, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Sam. I think she did a great job. What do you think? Yeah. All right, well, come in the booth, sit down, relax.